Okay, so I am excited. I'm excited to talk about IFS. And what I want to talk about is, first of all, just an overview of the model, okay? Because if you don't understand the basics, how are you going to follow anything? You know what I mean? What I like to think about IFS is like an equilateral triangle of three parts. Because in IFS, you basically have the self, which is like the true self, who you truly are, right? And then you have parts, three main parts. First part, exiles, okay? Those are the ones at the bottom of the triangle. They're your most sensitive, delicate parts. They carry feelings and beliefs that are like the painful feelings and beliefs that you've accrued over your life of, like, you know, being criticized, being bullied, being traumatized, whatever it is. Because they're so sensitive, they're like our little kid parts. They have to be protected. They have to be protected from more harm, but we also have to be protected from them, because if we were in our exiles all the time, like I am my exiles, I'll be crying in a corner right now. I wouldn't be talking to you. So we have to be protecting them from the outside world, and we have to be protecting ourselves from the energy of our exiles. That's why they're exiled. They're pushed away out of consciousness. We have two ways that we keep the exiles out of our consciousness. These parts up here on the top of the triangle, those are the protectors, okay? There's two types of protectors. There's proactive protectors. Those are the managers. They manage us, okay? Like, say you have somebody in your family that criticizes you. Gee, I don't know anybody who has people in their family who criticizes them. Ha ha ha, right? If you have somebody in your family who criticizes you, your managers go, don't call your sister. Don't call your brother. Don't call your mother. They're going to criticize you, and then you're going to feel like crap, right? Because that's going to poke your exiles and you're going to feel terrible. So that's proactive, because if you just avoid the crappy things that could hurt you proactively, right? You keep yourself protected. So that's managers. They manage this pain by like proactively keeping you from being criticized. So it could be by avoiding places or things that are crappy. Could be, oh, let me make sure that you look good. That way, you know, you're the person in your family who wants you to look good isn't going to criticize you for how you look, you know, whatever it is. They're the status quo parts who just make you go along to get along. And they want you to not standing out so that you don't get criticized, so that your exiles can just keep it on the down low, right? That's managers. But of course, that doesn't work all the time, you know? Every now and then you got to talk to that family member. They say something rude happens. You're just randomly walking around and somebody does something rude to you, right? The world is full of rude people. So then your exiles can get triggered, and then who comes out? This is one of my firefighters, okay? Just an example. This is Rhino, my second in command firefighter. And what the firefighters do is they just do whatever it takes to blow off the steam of that, like, hurt. They're going to distract the exiles from their pain, okay? They're reactive protectors. So, like, say I'm feeling anxious, they're like, oh, I feel the need to eat some tortilla chips now. They're going to numb you out, or like, oh, I know it's time for bed, but that was a really crappy day I had, so now I'm on Netflix for 5 hours. They just numb you. They dissociate you. They distract you. They're like, these are not the droids you're looking for. Just spacing you out, okay? So they're called firefighters because they don't care what it takes. Like if your house is on fire with the like flames of the exiles feeling bad, the firefighters come in and go, cookies, addiction, numbing, dissociation. And then it's all calm now. They put the fire out. Is your house covered in water? Yeah, but they don't care. Are you up till 5 o'clock in the morning? Sure you are. But do you feel better? You feel crappy because you stayed up till 5, but it did put the flames of those bad feelings out, right? So they do what it takes to just numb the exiles out. So that's basically the equilateral triangle of the two protectors, the firefighters and the managers, and then the exiles down below. The reason why I call it an equilateral triangle is because they are equal. So if you've got a firefighter, okay, who's eating chips, I can guarantee you've got a manager who's like criticizing you a little bit, or who's like stressed out a little bit or something, equal to the amount of the chips that you ate. And down here, you've got an exile that feels bad, equal to the amount of chips that you ate, okay? So anywhere on that triangle, wherever you're at, you have X-ray vision to the other two parts. And that is actually a superpower if you choose to accept it. Because if you see somebody who's shooting heroin, okay, which is a far out firefighter, right? Well, what does that mean? That means you've got a far out manager who's probably really vicious, really critical, really shaming, like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing that? Oh my God, what do you, you got to stop that. Oh my God, you're killing yourself, whatever, right? That's the manager and firefighter up here. But down here, what's the exile? It's an equilateral triangle. So however far out the firefighter is, that's how far down the exile is, which means this person probably has extremely traumatized exiles to be needing that much numbing. And that's how we have an insight into just how much compassion IFS can bring us, because it truly is a lens into the secret lives of other humans. That's a very spiritual, angle of approach, right? But I believe it. Am I embodying that? Am I 100% perfectly, like all the parts inside of me are like, oh yes, when I see that very extreme firefighter, I'm just filled with the radiance and joy of compassion for them? No.